Hey, this is night 7 of my solo meditation banana retreat. Still can't say it without laughing because it just sounds ridiculous, but kind of fun. Also figured out how to do this lighting better. Um, Go figure, the last day. It's kind of cool in the background, some light. Um, but yeah, today on kind of paper, this is the, or like written down, is like the worst day ever. I was just like exhausted. Last night I couldn't sleep for some reason. Felt like I was in a dream, but wasn't. Like I was awake the whole time, but time was going fast. It was weird. um, and my neighbors were screaming at each other. During that, I actually like had a realization too, like how amazing it is that people, all sorts of things can happen, like no matter what. And it's like if you're just aware, conscious during the moment and not get sucked into the self, then you can enjoy moments even like that. Because when you're the self, you want them to shut up, or like you want things to be quiet so you can focus on your stuff, right? But when you kind of can let everything go, it's just like you become the space and everything just flows however it does, right? But yeah, so that was last night, and then morning I was just exhausted. Not because of that, because it ended kind of like uh, it didn't last too long, but for some reason couldn't sleep. Um, so I was just tired. Did some yoga, did a couple sits, but but it was like when I stopped doing the sits, like decided to give myself a break and just like laying in the tent, just observing outside, is when I started realizing these truths, just like simple things like um, that there's kind of two ways of living life, right? It's like program mode or the conscious mode. And many of us like live programmed because we do the same thing over and over, and we get just consumed by the mind whenever we do those things because it's so easy afterwards, right? Like you don't have to put any attention. But if you want to live life happily and just see the miraculous thing that it is and enjoy your life, then you need to do it the conscious way. And that is like being totally there in every moment as often as possible. Sure, you're still going to be doing certain things programmed and like automatically, but try to put in as many areas of your life this conscious way of doing things. So it's an example I kind of like to use is like just putting on your shoes and tying your shoes. You can just go and grab the shoe and just put it on quickly and just tie it up without really noticing about it, because you're mostly just stuck in mental stuff, like where you're going, what you're gonna do, like all the stuff thing, right? But instead, there's a different way, which is with consciousness, and you can like feel how it feels to pick up the shoe, put it on, feel how it feels, tie the thing. So like be there. Obviously you don't have to take 10 hours to do it either, but um, putting that conscious attention into everything, or as many things as you can, will give you so much more joy in life, because that's where the realizations come. If you do things automatic, you're going to be stuck in the mind, and the mind just recycles information, your knowledge that you've gathered, so you never learn anything really new. No insights come, nothing comes, because you're just running in this loop, a cycle that the mind just kind of like brings forward over and over again, and you get stuck in that loop, and it's draining and it kills life, and it's makes things boring and lame. So if you want a like deeper life, you need to try to add consciousness into as many areas of your life. So that was like a major thing I learned today. Like I was actually just tying my shoe after taking a shower, and I'm like, oh shit, this is it. It just kind of, it's crazy how it happens. Like all of a sudden you start realizing these things. These simple truths is nothing even like crazy, but it's like we miss it because we're never there. And also another thing, I was like taking a log to put in a fire, and these little bugs were there, little creatures, you know, the ones with armor and like that roll up. So I try to remove all of them before I place it in the fire, and I realized like there's never, it's always going to be some kind of death and violence you inflict on something. It's impossible because everything is conscious. So even the log itself, you're doing something to it, right? You're burning it. So you're always inflicting something. But if you can be aware at least and be compassionate towards it and try to inflict the least amount of damage to things, then just life will be much more meaningful, and things will appreciate it, obviously, because it's all the same thing. That creature and you are just a piece of consciousness that broke off, and you go back to the total. So but you need to realize that, so then you can like be like, oh shit, I'm no better than this little creature or this thing that I'm about to hurt. So if you don't have to do it, then it's just better not to, right? Like it's like everything wants to live and survive just like you do. There was a bigger creature on the planet, like just flicking you everywhere, and not be cool, especially if they were unconscious, right? They would think that you're just like this dumb thing. Oh, see ya. So this kind of stuff is just out there in the open, but you have to become aware of it. So yeah, these are just like two things that kind of just like clicked today. And yeah, so the day though in total seemed like a miserable because I was just tired and like just drained. Didn't even want to eat bananas anymore. Tired of bananas. They were kind of green though, that's why. Couldn't even have smoothies, and they tasted funky because it's like when they're not ripe, it's just like it's hard to digest. So that was like, I ate some and drank some, but it wasn't that enjoyable anymore. And since it's the last day, it's like the mind's like trying to come up with like all the stuff I could eat tomorrow. Just kind of fun, I guess. But yeah, so it was a success. At least made it this far. Probably have a smoothie in the morning, and then yeah, then I'm gonna leave. But yeah, ultimately this trip, until the end, I didn't really feel like I learned anything until this day, where I had like rest and just allowed anything to be. That's where I gathered the most, or like realized the most. So it's just kind of cool, and it's nice, kind of like a reminder to just relax. Don't try so hard all the time. Just let things happen, because if you put too much effort, you're blocking, and that's not good. But obviously you need to do certain things like this, like it's why do the work, because eventually the realizations come. But if I just sat on my ass and ate potato chips and watched movies all day, then probably wouldn't get too much out of life. So yeah, I'm super grateful for this trip, and hopefully you guys learned something if you watch these. Also gonna put up the notes I jot down too, so like they're probably more detailed than the videos, because I don't want to shoot too long videos about things, because I don't know, people probably get bored. But yeah, they're all gonna be on my website, so eventually when I get to it, I'll post it all up there. But yeah, so this is so long, and yeah, try to do something like this for yourself, like even just like a 3-day thing. The bananas definitely help because I didn't have to put so much effort onto what I'm gonna eat. It was like that was cut out, so like food was cut out of the equation. So it was like I could really focus on doing what I wanted to do, but it's challenging, obviously. Like nobody really wants to eat just bananas. Uh, it's kind of like I was on an island stuck, uh, just fending for myself. But alrighty, anyways, peace out.